Welcome back to ZE Coins. Today, we're diving deep into the mysterious world of the 1972 D Washington quarter dollar, a coin that has left collectors astonished and treasure hunters on the edge of their seats. Stay tuned till the very end, because you'll want to hear just how much this little piece of metal can be worth today. The year was 1972, a time of change and challenge in the United States. The Vietnam War was still ongoing, Watergate was beginning to unfold, and technology was taking its first steps toward the digital revolution. Amid all this, everyday Americans continued to use the humble quarter, unaware that one particular issue minted that year in Denver would someday make history. The Washington quarter had already become an American staple. First introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birthday, it replaced the standing Liberty quarter and quickly became one of the nation's most recognized coins. By 1972, the design had seen decades of circulation. On the obverse, the proud profile of George Washington, stoic and strong. On the reverse, the fierce American eagle, wings spread wide in a symbol of freedom. But it wasn't the design that made this coin special. It was what happened during the minting process at the Denver Mint, marked by the small d beneath the motto, "In God We Trust." In coin collecting, or numismatics, small differences can mean everything. A single misplaced line, a faint doubling of a letter, or even an unintentional scratch during minting can turn an ordinary coin into a legendary rarity. The 1972 D Washington quarter is no exception. Millions of these coins were produced that year, over 311 million, to be precise, and nearly all of them entered regular circulation. So, what makes this one stand out? It's not just age. It's not even the design. It's the errors and condition that set this coin apart from the rest. Every minting year carries a few surprises, and 1972 was no different. Some quarters came out with slight double die errors, where the coin's design appears faintly doubled due to a misalignment during striking. Others showed die cracks, weak strikes, or filled mint marks, tiny details invisible to the casual eye but worth a fortune to a trained collector. And then there's the rare high-grade mint state quarter, the ones that never saw circulation, preserved in pristine condition straight from the mint, with their lustrous silver sheen untouched by time. For the 1972 D, these high-grade specimens are incredibly scarce. Many were used, worn, and tossed into circulation for decades, losing their original shine. But the few that survived untouched, those are the ones that make collectors' hearts race. Coin grading is the secret language of collectors. The difference between a coin graded MS-60 and one graded MS-67 can mean thousands, even tens of thousands, of dollars. In the grading world, MS stands for mint state. It refers to coins that have never been used in circulation, essentially, brand new straight from the mint. The 1972 D Washington quarter in mint state 65 and above is exceedingly rare. Most have scratches, dulling, or light wear. But the few that exist in perfect condition, with sharp details, full mint luster, and no handling marks, can bring astronomical prices at auction. Over the years, the 1972 D quarter has been examined, appraised, and chased by collectors across the world. For most people, it's just pocket change, but for numismatists, it's a hidden gem waiting to be discovered. Some collectors even specialize in finding rare mint marks or die variations from the 1970s, a decade full of unique production quirks from all three mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Among them, the Denver Mint's 1972 issue stands out for its scarcity in perfect mint condition and the few rare errors that have appeared in professional grading submissions. Imagine finding one of these coins in an old collection, a forgotten box, or even a family heirloom jar. That's the thrill that keeps collectors searching. The modern hunt. Even today, treasure hunters and casual hobbyists alike keep their eyes open for old quarters. While the 1972 D isn't made of silver, it's a copper-nickel clad coin. Its value doesn't come from metal content, but from rarity and demand. Some of the most valuable 1972 D quarters ever discovered came from rolls of uncirculated coins, carefully stored by collectors decades ago. Others turned up unexpectedly, tucked inside dusty drawers or hidden in vintage piggy banks. It's this element of surprise, the dream of finding fortune in something ordinary, that makes coin collecting so magical. When these rare specimens do appear on the market, they cause quite a stir. Auction rooms grow silent. Bidders raise their paddles. Prices climb, higher, and higher, until the gavel falls, and for the 1972 D. Washington quarter, one such event made headlines in the coin collecting community. A high-grade mint state example, graded by one of the top grading services, stunned collectors when it reached an astonishing hammer price far beyond its face value. This wasn't just a fluke. It was proof that hidden treasures can still be found in the most unexpected places. So, how can you tell if your 1972 D quarter might be worth big money? Here's what to look for. Mint mark. Make sure it has the small d under, "In God We Trust." This indicates it was minted in Denver. Condition. The fewer scratches and wear marks, the better. Look for that original shine, the mint luster. Details. Check for doubling, especially on the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or the date, 1972. Edges and fields, a strong, sharp strike and smooth, clean fields, the flat background areas, can indicate a higher grade coin. Professional grading. If you think you have a rare one, send it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Their certification can make all the difference in value. The 1972 D quarter represents more than just money. It's a piece of American history. Each coin tells a story, of craftsmanship, of the changing times, and of the hands it passed through before someone realized its hidden worth. For many collectors, the hunt is about passion, patience, and discovery, not just profit. It's about holding a tangible piece of the past, a link to a time when coins were more than just currency. They were symbols of pride, freedom, and everyday life, the value that stunned collector. Narrator. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. What is the highest known value of the 1972 D. Washington quarter? Well, at one remarkable auction, an almost flawless mint state example, preserved through the decades with unbelievable care, sold for a jaw-dropping amount that left the collecting world buzzing. This wasn't a proof coin. It wasn't made of silver. It wasn't even specially minted for collectors. It was just an ordinary coin struck in Denver, but in extraordinary condition. That single 1972 D. Washington quarter dollar fetched a staggering sum of $55,240. Yes, a simple 25-cent coin transformed into a treasure worth more than most people's annual salary. We're diving into one of the most surprising stories in American coin collecting history, the 1986 P. Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar, and trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be checking your change drawer with new eyes, because one of these ordinary-looking coins has shocked collectors by selling for an unbelievable amount of money. Stay tuned till the end to hear about that exact coin, and how much it's worth today. Scene 2, the beginning, a coin with a legacy. Before we talk about 1986, we need to travel back in time, way back to 1932. That's when the United States Mint first introduced the Washington quarter. It was meant to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, the very first president of the United States, and one of the most iconic figures in American history. The coin's design was created by sculptor John Flanagan, who chose to depict a left-facing portrait of Washington on the obverse, or the front of the coin. His design beat out several others in a national competition, and even today, more than 9 decades later, the Washington quarter remains one of the most recognizable pieces of American currency. The reverse, the back side, features a bold bald eagle with its wings spread wide, standing proudly atop a bundle of arrows, symbolizing strength, while olive branches below represent peace. But what makes the 1986 quarter stand out from the millions of others? Well, that's where things get interesting. Scene 3, the 1986 quarter, a year of change and continuity. Let's fast forward to the mid-1980s. The Cold War was still ongoing, Top Gun was ruling the box office, and Ronald Reagan was sitting in the Oval Office. In the world of coin collecting, 1986 seemed like an ordinary year. The U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins for circulation, including quarters, nickels, dimes, and pennies, at various mint facilities, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. For the Washington quarter, 1986 was the 54th year of its production. By then, the coin was made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, not silver. The silver quarters had ended back in 1964 when rising silver prices forced the U.S. Mint to switch to more affordable materials. Each 1986 quarter contains about 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, giving it a silvery appearance but without any actual silver content. But here's the twist: despite being a modern coin, Some 1986 quarters have become incredibly valuable. And the key to unlocking that value lies in a few important details: the mint mark, the condition, and the rarity of certain errors. Scene 4, the mint marks and what they mean. On the front of every Washington quarter, just to the right of George Washington's ponytail, there's a tiny letter. That's the mint mark, and it tells you exactly where the coin was made. In 1986, there were 3 mints producing quarters, tongue sticking out: Philadelphia Mint D, Denver Mints, San Francisco Mint. The P mint mark on your quarter means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most famous coin-producing facilities in the world. In 1986, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 551 million quarters. That's more than 500 million coins. So, at first glance, it might seem impossible that one could be worth anything more than 25 cents, but as every collector knows, rarity doesn't always mean low mintage. Sometimes, it's all about perfection, errors, or a combination of both. Scene 5, why condition matters, the power of mint state perfection. When it comes to coins, condition is everything. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, known as the Sheldon scale, where 1 means barely identifiable and 70 means absolutely flawless. A 1986 P quarter that's been in circulation, with scratches, wear, and discoloration, is probably worth, well, about 25 cents. Maybe a bit more if you sell it in bulk to collectors, but a mint state 67, 68, or 69 quarter, meaning a coin that has never been used, handled, or even slightly scratched, can sell for hundreds, or even thousands, of dollars. Now imagine a perfectly struck 1986 P Washington quarter, sharp details, brilliant luster, and immaculate preservation straight from the mint. That's when things start to get very interesting, and very valuable. Scene 6, the rare 1986 P quarter, what makes it special. So, what exactly makes one 1986 P quarter stand out from the rest? Sometimes, it's a minting error, a mechanical or human mistake during production that results in a coin with unique characteristics. These errors can include things like off-center strikes, when the design isn't perfectly aligned; double die errors, when the design is accidentally struck twice, creating a ghost-like double image; clipped planchets, where part of the coin is missing from the edge; die cracks or cuts; raised lines or lumps from worn-out minting equipment. Each of these errors makes the coin one of a kind. And collectors love one-of-a-kind coins, but even without an error, some regular 1986 P quarters have achieved astonishing values simply because of their pristine condition and rarity in top grades. Scene 7, record-breaking sales, the 1986 P quarter that shocked collectors. Now let's talk about the moment that made headlines in the coin world. A single 1986 P Washington quarter, graded at MS-68 by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, went up for auction. Collectors knew it was special. The surfaces were flawless. The strike was razor-sharp. The luster gleamed like it had just left the mint that morning. Even though it was nearly 4 decades old, bidding started modestly, but quickly spiraled into a frenzy. Seasoned collectors and investors fought for ownership of this rare specimen, knowing how extraordinarily difficult it was to find a 1986 quarter in such perfect condition, and when the final gavel struck, jaws dropped. That seemingly ordinary 25-cent coin had just sold for a staggering amount, one that few could believe. Scene 8, understanding the value. How can it be worth that much? At this point, you might be asking, how can a coin made of copper and nickel, with no silver or gold, be worth that kind of money? The answer lies in the laws of rarity and demand. Most coins from the 1980s were used heavily in circulation. People didn't think twice about tossing them in vending machines, parking meters, or donation jars. Very few were saved and uncirculated, gem-quality condition. That's why finding a perfectly preserved 1986 P quarter today is like finding a needle in a haystack, or more accurately, a flawless diamond in a pile of gravel. Collectors are willing to pay massive premiums for coins that represent the highest possible grade of preservation, the kind of coins that look like they just came off the press. Even after nearly 40 years, add to that the historical value, the nostalgia of the Washington design, and the thrill of owning a perfect example, and you've got the recipe for an incredible price tag. Scene 9, what to look for in your own coins. Now that you know what makes the 1986 P quarter so special, you might be wondering, could you have one of these treasures hiding in your own change jar? Here's what to look for: mint mark, check for the small letter P to the right of Washington's ponytail. That means it was made in Philadelphia. Condition: look for sharp details, clean surfaces, and minimal scratches. If it shines like new and hasn't been circulated, you could have something special. Errors: use a magnifying glass to check for doubling, off-center designs, or any unusual markings. Grading: if your coin looks flawless, consider having it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. Their certification can dramatically increase your coin's value. Who knows? Your next quarter might just be a hidden jackpot. Scene 10, the magic number, the 1986 P quarter's record price revealed, and now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Among all the 1986 P Washington quarters ever struck, one stood above the rest, a pristine, museum-quality coin that became a legend in the coin collecting community. That coin, graded as MS-68 by PCGS, sold at auction for an astonishing total of $48,240. Yes, you heard that right. A single 25-cent coin, the same one most people spent without a second thought, became worth nearly $50,000. It's stories like this that remind us why coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a journey through history, art, and unexpected fortune. Scene 11, final thoughts. The treasure hunt continues, so the next time you're holding a handful of change, take a moment to look closer. Every coin has a story, and sometimes, that story could be worth a small fortune. The 1986 P Mint Mark Washington quarter teaches us that value isn't always about what a coin is made of, it's about rarity, preservation, and passion. That humble piece of metal might not just be pocket change. It could be a hidden piece of American history waiting to shine again. We're diving deep into the fascinating story of the 1990 D Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar, a small piece of American history that has shocked collectors and investors with its staggering value, and trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be checking every single quarter you come across, because you never know what treasure might be hiding right in your hand. The birth of a classic, the Washington quarter. Before we uncover what makes the 1990 D quarter so special, let's take a quick trip back in time, to where it all began. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932, as a tribute to the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first President of the United States. It replaced the standing Liberty quarter and was designed by John Flanagan, whose depiction of Washington has since become one of the most iconic images in American coinage. Over the decades, this design has evolved slightly, but the essence remains: Washington's bold profile on the obverse, and the proud American eagle spreading its wings on the reverse. For generations, it's been more than just a coin, it's a symbol of American strength, independence, and everyday life. Fast forward to the year 1990, a year that brought a subtle yet remarkable series of quarters that would one day capture the attention of numismatists, and change the way collectors view modern coins forever. The 1990 D Mint Mark. What does D mean now? You might have noticed that tiny letter just below Washington's neck on certain quarters, a small D. That letter stands for Denver, one of the U.S. Mint's key production facilities. The Denver Mint is known for producing billions of coins every year, and the 1990 D Washington quarter was no exception. In fact, over 927 million of these coins were struck at the Denver Mint. So you might be thinking, how could something so common be worth a small fortune today? That's the mystery we're about to unravel, because in the world of coin collecting, it's not just about how many coins were made, it's about how few survived in perfect condition, or how many carry a unique flaw, variation, or error that makes them stand out from the rest. A common coin with an uncommon twist. At first glance, the 1990 D Washington quarter looks completely ordinary. It's made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, weighs about 5.67 grams, and measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter, just like any other quarter you've ever seen. But here's where things get interesting. Some 1990 D quarters have surfaced over the years displaying remarkable minting errors or exceptionally preserved conditions that make them extremely rare. Collectors around the world have gone wild for examples that show off these traits, and some have fetched prices that no one would have believed possible for a modern coin. Mint errors that shocked collectors. So, what kind of errors are we talking about? Let's break down a few that have sent shockwaves through the coin collecting community. Off-center strikes. These are coins that were not perfectly aligned when struck by the minting dies. Instead of a centered design, you might see part of the design cut off, or extra blank space on one edge. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin can be. double die errors. This happens when the die that strikes the coin imprints the design twice, creating a subtle but visible doubling on letters, numbers, or details of Washington's face. Coins with a strong double die error are extremely desirable, missing clad layer. Since modern quarters are made of a copper core sandwiched between nickel layers, sometimes one of those layers doesn't properly attach. The result? A striking copper-colored coin that immediately stands out. High-grade strikes, MS68 or higher, even without visible errors. Some coins are valuable simply because they survive decades without a single scratch, blemish, or sign of wear. Coins graded by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, at the highest levels can bring enormous prices from collectors who prize perfection. Why condition is everything? Let's pause for a second and talk about coin grading, because this is where much of the 1990 quarters value lies. When collectors talk about coin condition, they're referring to a scale known as the Sheldon scale, which ranges from 1 to 70. A coin graded 1 is basically unrecognizable. A coin graded 70, however, is perfect, flawless under magnification, with no scratches, no wear, and sharp, crisp details. Now here's the amazing part: even though millions of 1990 quarters were minted, very few survived in near-perfect condition. Most went straight into circulation, rattling around in pockets, vending machines, and cash registers for years. So when a pristine example turns up, untouched, gleaming, and perfectly struck, collectors are willing to pay astonishing sums to own it. How the value skyrocketed over the years. Interest in modern-era coins like the 1990 Washington quarter has grown rapidly. What was once considered just spare change is now part of an exciting new wave of collecting that celebrates coins from the late 20th century. As more people began to collect these coins, prices started to rise, especially for those certified in top grades by PCGS or NGC, and then came the moment that truly changed everything. At a major auction, a 1990 Washington quarter graded in an almost flawless state shocked everyone when it sold for a price that no one saw coming. The hammer dropped at an unbelievable $42,240. Yes, you heard that right. A single quarter, worth 25 cents when it left the mint, sold for the price of a luxury car. The story behind that record-breaking sale. Let's dive deeper into how that particular coin achieved such an extraordinary value. The specimen was discovered in near-perfect condition. Its luster was immaculate, the strike was razor-sharp, and not a single blemish marred its surface. It was later sent to PCGS, where expert graders confirmed its exceptional state and assigned it one of the highest grades ever recorded for a 1990 quarter. When the coin went up for auction, bidders from around the world, serious collectors, investors, and even museums, vied to add this rare piece to their collections. The competition was fierce, and as the numbers climbed higher, the crowd gasped. By the time the auctioneer's gavel fell, history had been made. That simple, unassuming quarter had transformed into a modern numismatic legend. What makes it so special? Now, you might ask, why this coin? What sets it apart from millions of other 1990 quarters? The answer lies in a combination of rarity, perfection, and timing. Rarity, because so few have survived in flawless condition. Perfection, because even the tiniest imperfection can lower the grade, and therefore the value, dramatically. And timing, because collector demand for high-grade modern coins has exploded in recent years. Put all that together, and you have the perfect storm for a record-breaking sale. Could you have one worth thousands? Here's the exciting part: you might, even if you don't have the exact record-breaking coin. Other 1990 quarters in excellent condition can still be worth serious money. Here's a quick breakdown. Circulated 1990 quarters, those with visible wear, are generally worth their face value, 25 cents. Uncirculated examples, bright, sharp, and with no signs of wear, can sell for a few dollars to several hundred, depending on grade. Certified mint state coins graded MS66 or higher can reach values in the hundreds to low thousands, and at the top of the scale, that museum-quality example sold for its historic price of $42,240. So before you spend that next quarter at the gas station or drop it into a vending machine, take a close look. You might just be holding a hidden treasure. How to check your quarters? If you're curious whether you might own one of these valuable coins, here's what to do. Inspect the mint mark. Look for the small D under Washington's neck. That identifies it as a Denver Mint issue. Check the date. make sure it's from 1990. Examine the condition, look at the details of Washington's hair, the lettering, and the eagle's feathers on the back. The sharper and cleaner, the better. Use a magnifier or loupe, tiny details matter. Look for doubling or signs of mint errors, compare to online references, check auction sites or collector forums to see examples of high-grade 1990 quarters, consider professional grading. If your coin looks flawless, send it to PCGS or NGC. The grading certificate not only authenticates your coin but can multiply its value. The legacy of the 1990 quarter. What makes this story so incredible is that it reminds us of something profound. Value can hide in plain sight. A simple coin, one that countless people have spent without a thought, can become a prized collector's item decades later. It's a lesson in preservation, curiosity, and the hidden beauty of history that lives right in our hands. For collectors, the 1990 Washington quarter is more than just a piece of metal. It's a reminder that even modern coins can hold extraordinary secrets. Every scratch tells a story. Every flawless surface whispers of time preserved. And every discovery adds a new chapter to America's rich numismatic heritage. Yes, the unassuming 1999 1787 Washington quarter dollar might just be your ticket to a small fortune. In today's video, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of U.S. coinage, uncovering the hidden secrets behind the 1999 1787 Washington quarter dollar coin. We'll explore its history, design, rare errors, minting mysteries, and current market value, and by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why collectors are hunting for these coins like buried treasure. Let's travel back in time to understand where this story begins. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932, commemorating the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first president of the United States. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, this coin replaced the standing Liberty quarter, a classic design from the early 20th century. For decades, the Washington quarter remained relatively consistent in design, bearing the portrait of George Washington on the obverse, that's the front, and the proud eagle with outstretched wings on the reverse, or the back. But in 1999, everything changed. The 50-state quarters program revolution 1999 marked a turning point in American coinage. The U.S. Mint launched the 50-state quarters program, one of the most popular coin series in U.S. history. Each quarter released under this program celebrated one of the 50 states, with unique designs symbolizing their heritage, history, and landmarks. The program began with the first 5 states: Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Georgia, and Connecticut. Each of these quarters had their own special reverse design, while the obverse still featured the familiar face of George Washington, now modified slightly by artist William Cousins to fit modern minting standards. The 1999 quarters were struck at multiple U.S. Mint facilities: Philadelphia, P., Denver, D., and San Francisco, S. And that tiny letter under the motto, "In God We Trust," tells us exactly where the coin came from. Our focus today is on the 1999 D quarter, struck in Denver, Colorado. Now, you might be wondering, what's so special about the 1999 D quarter? After all, millions were produced. But here's where it gets interesting. Not every coin is created equal. The 1787 you see on many coins from this era refers not to the year of minting, but to the date that appears as part of certain designs, specifically those celebrating New Jersey's statehood, since New Jersey ratified the U.S. Constitution in 1787. When the U.S. Mint produced the New Jersey state quarter, the coin displayed both 1787 and 1999, marking the year of statehood and the year of issue. That means the 1999 D 1787 Washington quarter is actually the New Jersey state quarter, minted in Denver, with the dual date 1787 to 1999. And among these, certain variations and rare mint errors have made collectors go absolutely wild. The design on the 1999 New Jersey quarter is a work of art. On the obverse, you'll find the elegant portrait of George Washington, his face turned slightly to the left, surrounded by the inscriptions, "United States of America, Liberty," and "In God We Trust." On the reverse, you'll see an iconic scene, George Washington crossing the Delaware River, a historic moment from the Revolutionary War. The design captures Washington standing in a boat, leading his troops through the icy waters, a moment that symbolizes determination, leadership, and the fight for freedom. Around the image, the inscriptions read, "New Jersey, 1787, Crossroads of the Revolution, and 1999. It's one of the most admired designs of the entire 50-state quarter series. The Denver Mint produced a massive number of these coins, over 662 million in total. That might sound like a lot, and it is. But among those hundreds of millions, a tiny fraction possess rare errors and minting anomalies that make them worth a fortune today. Let's get into what every coin collector wants to know, the rare errors that turn an ordinary 25-cent piece into a life-changing discovery. Double die obverse. This error occurs when the design on the coin's front is struck twice at slightly different angles. The result? Doubling in the inscriptions like, Liberty, In God We Trust, or even on Washington's profile. Collectors pay hundreds or even thousands for sharp examples of this error. Off-center strike. Sometimes, during minting, the coin blank isn't perfectly aligned with the die. When struck, part of the design appears off-center. A 1999 D quarter with a dramatic off-center strike can fetch several $100s depending on the percentage of misalignment. Clipped planchet error. This happens when part of the metal blank is missing before striking, resulting in a coin that appears bitten on the edge. These are rare and collectible. Die cracks and cuds. Over time, minting dies wear down, and cracks may form. When those cracks appear on a coin, they can create raised lines or blobs of metal, known as cuds. Depending on their size and visibility, these errors can add significant value. Proof-like finish in circulation. Some Denver minted quarters were struck so sharply that they have mirror-like surfaces, resembling proof coins. These are highly sought after if they've been preserved in near-perfect condition. High-grade mint state coins, even without errors, a 1999 D quarter graded MS68 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can sell for staggering prices. Coins in such condition are extremely rare because most circulated quickly and developed wear. If you've got a collection of state quarters lying around, here's how you can check if your 1999 D 1787 Washington quarter might be a hidden gem. Look closely at the mint mark. It should have a small D under, In God We Trust. Inspect both sides under good lighting. Use a magnifying glass to spot doubling, cracks, or misaligned designs. Check for sharp details, especially on Washington's hair and the boats on the reverse. Avoid scratches or discoloration. A coin's condition drastically affects its value. Consider grading. Professional grading by PCGS or NGC authenticates the coin and can multiply its value. Coin collecting, or numismatics, is one of the oldest hobbies in the world, and its modern market is thriving. Rare and error coins attract competitive bidding at auctions across the country. The combination of historical significance, rarity, and aesthetic beauty makes the 1999 D 1787 Washington quarter one of the standout coins of the 50-state quarter series. Collectors love it not just for its errors, but also for its symbolism, a perfect blend of America's revolutionary past and modern minting innovation. In pristine condition, this coin can draw serious attention from collectors, dealers, and investors alike. Every coin tells a story, and this one connects the birth of the American nation in 1787 to the technological advancements of 1999. Think about it, over 2 centuries apart, yet both dates are forever linked on one small piece of metal. The 1787 symbolizes the signing of the U.S. Constitution, while 1999 marks the dawn of a new millennium. It's not just a coin, it's a bridge across American history, carrying the weight of the nation's journey in the palm of your hand. What's even more exciting is that some of the rarest and most valuable 1999 D 1787 quarters have been discovered in ordinary circulation, grocery store change, parking meters, or coin rolls from banks. That means anyone could stumble upon one, at any time. Imagine the thrill of realizing the quarter you just used to buy a soda could be worth thousands. That's the magic of coin collecting, hidden value in plain sight. If you're serious about finding rare quarters, here are a few quick tips. Check bank rolls. You can often buy $10 rolls of quarters from banks and sort through them. Use a magnifier. A 10x jeweler's loupe helps spot tiny details and errors. Store properly. Use protective coin holders to prevent scratches and oxidation. Keep records. If you find a rare one, note where and when you found it. Stay informed. Follow auction sites and numismatic forums to see what coins are trending. Remember, patience and curiosity are key. Many collectors spend years before finding a truly exceptional coin, but when they do, it's all worth it. over the years, several 1999 D 1787 Washington quarter coins have set remarkable prices at auction houses. Pristine mint state examples with unique mint errors or doubling have sold for thousands. Collectors compete fiercely for those perfect coins, the ones that still gleam as if they were struck yesterday, and then there's the crown jewel, a near-flawless 1999 D 1787 Washington quarter dollar that once shocked the numismatic world with its final sale price. That rare coin, with its crisp details, untouched luster, and impeccable preservation, fetched a jaw-dropping $36,240. We're uncovering the incredible story of the 1999 D 1788 United States of America Washington quarter dollar coin, a coin that could be worth far more than 25 cents. In fact, one of these coins has fetched an eye-popping price at auction, and you won't believe the number when you hear it at the end of this video. So, let's jump right into this incredible journey, from minting to mystery, from metal to money, the birth of a legend. 1999 and the dawn of the state quarters. The year 1999 marked the beginning of something historic in American coinage, the U.S. 50 State Quarters program. Launched by the U.S. Mint, it was one of the most ambitious and successful coin series ever created. Each quarter celebrated one of the 50 U.S. states, showcasing a design that highlighted its unique heritage, culture, and history. For coin collectors, this was the start of a new era, and for casual citizens, it brought excitement to everyday change. Now, the 1999 D 1788 Washington quarter dollar specifically represents New Hampshire, which entered the Union in 1788. That's where the 1788 inscription comes from. The D Mint mark identifies it as being struck at the Denver Mint, one of the main U.S. mint facilities responsible for producing coins for circulation. But what makes this coin so special? After all, millions of quarters were minted that year. Why is this one so valuable? The answer lies not only in its design and symbolism but in a combination of rarity, condition, and minting errors that have turned it into a collector's dream, the design that captivated a nation. Let's take a closer look at this coin's design. On the obverse, or front side, you'll find the familiar portrait of George Washington, America's first president. This iconic image was originally sculpted by John Flanagan in 1932 and has graced the quarter for decades. The words, United States of America, Liberty, and, In God We Trust, frame Washington's proud profile, with the denomination, quarter dollar, below, but flip the coin over, and the reverse tells a story unique to New Hampshire. The design features the breathtaking Old Man of the Mountain, a famous rock formation that once stood in Franconia Notch. Etched with the phrase, Old Man of the Mountain, and the state's motto, Live Free or Die, this coin captures the spirit of independence and rugged beauty that defines New Hampshire. The year 1788 represents the state's admission to the Union, while 1999 marks the minting year. It's not just a coin, it's a symbol, a story cast in metal, and a reminder of the power of American craftsmanship, the hidden value, how ordinary turns extraordinary. Now here's where the story gets really interesting. While most 1999 D 1788 quarters are worth only their face value, just 25 cents, a small number of them have unique characteristics that make them incredibly valuable to collectors. The key to this value lies in errors and condition. Some coins struck at the Denver Mint that year were created with minor imperfections, off-center strikes, double dies, or misaligned lettering. These minting errors, when combined with near-perfect preservation, can skyrocket the value of the coin. Collectors prize coins graded as MS-67, MS-68, or higher, meaning mint state, or coins that look virtually untouched since the day they were minted. A 1999 D New Hampshire quarter in pristine condition, with no scratches, marks, or wear, is a rare find. Add a unique minting error, and suddenly you're not just holding a coin, you're holding a treasure. The role of coin grading and rarity grading plays a massive role in determining a coin's worth. The Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, are two of the most respected authorities that assess a coin's authenticity and condition. The scale ranges from poor, P1, all the way up to perfect mint state, MS-70. Most quarters you find in circulation are far below the top of this scale. They've been used, dropped, rubbed, and handled countless times. But a coin straight from the mint, kept sealed and untouched, could earn one of those coveted high grades. When collectors or investors discover one of these in top condition, especially with a minting error, they're willing to pay extraordinary prices to own it. This is exactly what happened with the 1999 D1788 Washington quarter dollar, a coin that, in a remarkable turn of events, shocked the numismatic community with its sale price, the discovery. When a coin becomes a fortune every now and then, a story emerges from the world of coin collecting that makes people double-check their pockets. A few years ago, a 1999 D1788 Washington quarter dollar was discovered in such exceptional condition that it defied expectations. Graded at a near-perfect mint state level and showcasing a rare strike characteristic, it drew the attention of top collectors and dealers alike. When it finally went up for auction, experts predicted it would sell for a significant amount, but no one anticipated just how high the bids would go. The final sale stunned everyone, turning a simple quarter into a piece of numismatic history. And that brings us to the jaw-dropping part of this story, the price that coin achieved. But before we reveal that number, let's take a moment to understand why coins like this can command such high prices, the power of passion, why people pay so much. Coin collecting, or numismatics, is more than just a hobby, it's a passion rooted in history, art, and the thrill of discovery. Each coin tells a story, reflecting a moment in time, a place, a people, and a purpose. Collectors see coins not merely as currency, but as time capsules, preserving the artistry and ideals of the nation. The 1999 D1788 quarter embodies this perfectly. It's part of a beloved series, celebrates one of America's original states, and represents the dawn of a new era in U.S. mint history. Combine that with rarity, condition, and the luck of survival, and it's easy to see why collectors are willing to spend big to own a piece of that story. And, of course, there's always that dream, that thrilling possibility, that a coin found in ordinary change could be worth an extraordinary sum. Tips for finding and identifying valuable quarters. If this story has you ready to search through your own change jar, you're not alone. Here are a few tips to help you spot potentially valuable quarters. Check the mint mark, look for the D below the "In God We Trust" on the obverse side. This identifies coins minted in Denver. Inspect the year. Focus on 1999 quarters, especially those featuring the New Hampshire design. Examine the details. Use a magnifying glass to look for any doubling in the lettering, numbers, or design. This could indicate a double die error. Look for misstrikes. If the coin seems off-center or parts of the design appear missing, it might be a mint error. And that could mean big value. Consider the condition. Coins that look shiny, clean, and uncirculated are worth far more. If you find one in mint condition, handle it carefully. Wear gloves to avoid fingerprints. Get it graded. If you think you found something special, consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Their certification adds legitimacy and can significantly increase resale value. You never know, your spare change could hold a tiny fortune waiting to be discovered. The legacy of the 1999 D1788 quarter. Beyond its value, this coin stands as a proud symbol of the United States Mint's artistry and innovation. The State Quarters program not only revived interest in coin collecting but also taught millions of Americans about their country's history and diversity. One quarter at a time, from schoolchildren to seasoned collectors, everyone was suddenly checking their change again, hoping to complete their sets or uncover a rare minting error. The 1999 D1788 Washington quarter became one of the standout stars of that series, a reminder that even in a world of digital currency and online payments, physical coins still hold power, meaning, and mystery. The stunning value revealed, and now, the moment you've been waiting for. The 1999 D1788 United States of America Washington quarter dollar coin, in exceptional mint condition with unique striking features, has reached a truly astonishing price at auction. A coin that started as just 25 cents ended up selling for an incredible $30,240. Yes, you heard that right. $30,240 for a single quarter. We're diving deep into one of the most talked about, mysterious, and surprisingly valuable modern coins in the United States. Yes, we're talking about the United States of America 2000 P1788 mint mark Washington quarter dollar coin. You might have one of these sitting quietly in your drawer, in a coin jar, or maybe even in your wallet right now. And if you do, that small piece of metal could be worth a lot more than just 25 cents. So sit back, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this particular quarter so special, and why collectors are paying thousands for it. Scene 2, Historical Hook. the Washington Quarter story. Let's start with a little history, because every great treasure has a story behind it. The Washington Quarter first appeared in 1932, created to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, this coin became a lasting symbol of American pride, history, and artistry. For decades, it featured the familiar image of George Washington on the obverse, that's the front side, and an American eagle on the reverse, spreading its wings proudly. But in the late 1990s, the U.S. Mint decided to do something extraordinary. They wanted to honor every U.S. state with a unique design. That decision gave birth to one of the most popular coin programs ever, the 50-State Quarters program, which began in 1999 and continued until 2008. Each year, 5 new state quarters were released, and millions of Americans began collecting them, trading them, and even keeping them as family heirlooms. Scene 3, enter the year 2000, the mystery begins. Now, let's jump to the year 2000, a new millennium, new energy, and a wave of excitement around these collectible quarters. That year, 5 states were honored: Massachusetts, Maryland, South Carolina, New Hampshire, and Virginia. But among those coins, something unusual started to appear. Coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint, carrying the famous P Mint mark, began showing errors, variations, and small differences that made them stand out, and one coin in particular caught everyone's attention. The 2000 P1788 Washington Quarter Dollar coin. Scene 4, the P1788 mystery explained. Now, you might be wondering, what does P1788 even mean? Well, the P refers to the Philadelphia Mint, where the coin was produced. The number 1788 is not random either, it's the year the state being commemorated was admitted to the Union. In this case, the coin represents New Hampshire, which became the 9th state to join the United States in 1788. The reverse of this quarter beautifully captures the spirit of New Hampshire. It features the Old Man of the Mountain, a rock formation that became one of the state's most famous landmarks. Sadly, that natural formation collapsed in 2003, making this coin even more symbolic and special today. Scene 5, design details and artistic beauty. Take a closer look at this quarter. It's truly a masterpiece of modern coinage. On the obverse, we have the iconic portrait of George Washington, his gaze steady and timeless. Above him, the words United States of America and Liberty shine boldly, along with the motto, In God We Trust. Flip it over, and you see the Old Man of the Mountain, carved by nature over thousands of years. Beneath it reads the state motto, Live Free or Die, a powerful declaration of independence and freedom. The design perfectly captures both the rugged beauty and the unbreakable spirit of New Hampshire. Scene 6, Mint marks and production facts. The Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of quarters that year. Most were perfectly ordinary, worth just 25 cents, but not all of them. Some 2,000 quarters came out with fascinating minting errors, struck through grease, off-center designs, double dies, and even planchet errors. That's when the blank metal disc used for the coin isn't made properly. Collectors quickly began searching for these oddities, because minting errors can make a coin extremely valuable, especially when they're rare and well preserved. Scene 7, the discovery of the rare variety. Then, in the years following 2000, coin enthusiasts and professional graders started noticing something extraordinary. Among regular New Hampshire state quarters, a few coins showed signs of double striking, where the coin gets pressed twice by the minting machine, creating a slight shadow or doubling effect on the lettering or design. Others had die cracks, tiny raised lines that occur when a mint die starts to break. And some had strange toning patterns, beautiful rainbow-like colors caused by natural oxidation over time. All these factors combined to make the 2000 P1788 Washington Quarter Dollar coin a collector's dream. Scene 8, the condition that changes everything. Of course, not all coins are created equal. In the coin world, condition is king. A heavily circulated coin that's been in pockets, wallets, and vending machines for 20 years might only be worth its face value, but a mint state coin, one that's been carefully preserved, showing no scratches, no wear, no dullness, can command an astonishing price at auction. Collectors use the Sheldon grading scale to evaluate coins, ranging from poor, P1, to perfect mint state, MS 70. When a 2000 P1788 quarter appears in MS 67 or higher, that's when things get truly exciting. Scene 9, Auction highlights. When 25 cents turns into a fortune, several rare examples of the 2000p 1788 quarter have appeared in online auctions, drawing intense attention from collectors across the country. At first, these coins sold for modest amounts, maybe a few $100s. But as more people learned about the rarity, especially in pristine condition, bidding wars began to erupt. In one remarkable auction, a flawlessly preserved 2000p 1788 mint mark Washington $quarter coin, certified by a top grading company and showing exceptional detail, fetched an eye-popping price of $24,240. That's right. A coin you could have spent on a gumball machine ended up being worth a luxury vacation, a new car, or even a down payment on a house. So what exactly makes this particular coin worth so much? It's a combination of factors: historical significance, it's part of the beloved 50-state quarter series, mint mark rarity. The Philadelphia Mint era coins from 2000 are scarce in high grades. Design symbolism, featuring the now-lost Old Man of the Mountain, adds emotional and cultural value. Condition, high-grade examples are almost impossible to find in circulation. Collector demand, with coin collecting growing massively online. Unique varieties like this skyrocket in value. When all those ingredients come together, rarity, condition, beauty, and demand, you get a coin that captures both hearts and wallets. Now you're probably wondering, could I have one of these valuable coins at home? Here's what you need to do: look for the date and mint mark. It should say 2000 and have a small p under the word "In God We Trust." Flip it over. Make sure it's the New Hampshire design, with the Old Man of the Mountain and the motto, "Live free or die." Inspect it carefully. Use a magnifying glass or even your phone's camera. Look for signs of doubling, cracks, or unusual toning. Check the condition. If it looks brand new, uncirculated, or has a mirror-like shine, it could be worth sending to a professional grader. Get it certified. Companies like PCGS or NGC can grade your coin officially, which increases its value dramatically. What makes this story even more amazing is how it shows the hidden treasures in everyday life. Coin collecting, or numismatics, as it's officially known, isn't just about money. It's about history, art, and discovery. Each coin tells a story of who we are, what we value, and how far we've come as a nation. The 2000p 1788 Washington $quarter is more than just metal. It's a tiny time capsule that carries the spirit of New Hampshire, the legacy of George Washington, and a reminder that even the smallest things can hold unimaginable value. So, next time you're handed change at a store, don't just toss those coins aside. Take a closer look. You might be holding history in your hand, or perhaps, a hidden fortune waiting to be discovered, because as this story proves, sometimes the smallest treasures can make the biggest impact, and who knows, your next quarter could be the one that changes your life. So there you have it. The incredible journey of the United States of America 2000p 1788 mint mark Washington $quarter coin, from its roots in American history to its place in the modern collector's market. This coin stands as a shining example of how value can hide in plain sight, and remember, one pristine example of this very coin has sold for an unbelievable price of $24,240. Today, we're diving deep into one such fascinating story, the tale of the 2014 P mint mark Washington $quarter coin, a modern treasure from America's pocket change that's shocked collectors and casual coin hunters alike. This isn't just about money, it's about history, craftsmanship, luck, and the thrill of discovery. So sit back, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at your spare change the same way again. The beginning of a legacy. The Washington $quarter has been part of American life since 1932. It was originally designed to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first president of the United States, the man whose vision shaped the foundation of the nation. The original design by sculptor John Flanagan became a lasting symbol of American pride. Over the decades, the Washington $quarter went through several changes, from silver to clad composition, from simple designs to state and national park series, but the 2014 quarters marked a special chapter, a part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a project that celebrated the nation's most iconic landscapes and historic sites. Each year, 5 new designs were released, each representing a different state or territory. And in 2014, one of those designs would become a legend among collectors, not because of its artwork, but because of something much rarer, the Philadelphia Mint and the P mark. The P mint mark stands for the Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most storied mints in the United States. Established in 1792, this is where the nation's first official coins were struck. In 2014, the Philadelphia Mint produced millions of quarters, ordinary ones, meant for everyday circulation. But among those millions, a handful emerged with subtle but stunning differences. These differences, minting errors, die varieties, or unique strikes, are what make certain coins incredibly valuable. Imagine it, a coin that looks just like every other quarter you've ever spent, but hidden in its details lies a secret worth thousands. The 2014 America the Beautiful Quarters. Before we talk about the valuable ones, let's take a quick look at what was released in 2014. That year, 5 unique designs came out: Great Smoky Mountains National Park, Tennessee; Shenandoah National Park, Virginia; Arches National Park, Utah; Great Sand Dunes National Park, Colorado; Everglades National Park, Florida. Each of these designs showcased stunning artistry, telling the story of America's natural beauty. Collectors were thrilled, but as time went on, one of these coins, specifically those from the Philadelphia Mint, began to attract more attention, not for its design alone, but for its hidden variations. What makes some 2014 P quarters so valuable now, you might be wondering? How can a modern coin, minted in the millions, be worth thousands of dollars? Well, in the world of coin collecting, the answer often lies in the smallest details. Certain 2014 P quarters were found with striking errors. Things like double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, or even minting imperfections that occurred during production. These flaws, though technically mistakes, actually make the coins much more desirable to collectors. Because in numismatics, the study and collecting of coins, rarity is king. The fewer there are, the more collectors will compete for them. And that competition drives prices sky high. The double die obverse variety. One of the most talked about examples among the 2014 P quarters is the double die obverse, particularly in the Great Smoky Mountains design. Under magnification, you can see slight doubling on the inscriptions, most often on Liberty or In God We Trust. To the untrained eye, it may look like a simple blur. But for coin experts, it's a golden ticket. These double dies happen when the die, the metal stamp used to strike the coin, imprints slightly off alignment, leaving a duplicate impression. Such coins can sell for hundreds, sometimes even thousands, depending on condition and demand. Error coins that made headlines. There were also reports of struck-through grease errors, where parts of the design appear faint or missing because of debris during the minting process. Some had off-center strikes, giving the quarter a lopsided appearance, and in a few extremely rare cases, collectors found planchet errors, coins that were struck on the wrong type of metal blank or had unusual weight variations. These are the unicorns of the coin world, the kind of finds that make collectors' hearts race, and one such 2014 P Washington quarter made headlines when it sold for a jaw-dropping price, far beyond anyone's expectations. The record-breaking sale among all the coins produced in 2014, one particular 2014 P Mint Mark Washington quarter stood out. It was a pristine, uncirculated specimen, preserved in flawless condition, graded by one of the top coin certification agencies as MS-68, meaning near perfect. The strike was sharp, the luster was brilliant, and under close inspection, it displayed subtle characteristics that made it unique among its peers. When this coin went up for auction, collectors from around the country took notice. Bidding was fierce, with enthusiasts determined to claim it, and when the final hammer fell, the winning bid stunned everyone. This single quarter, a coin that could easily have been spent on a pack of gum or a parking meter, sold for an astonishing $18,240. The power of preservation. What made that coin worth so much? Condition is everything. In numismatics, coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, the higher the number, the closer to perfection. A coin graded MS-68 or MS-69 is like finding a needle in a haystack, especially for modern circulating coins. Most coins come out of the mint with tiny scratches, contact marks, or dull finishes due to the mass production process. But every now and then, a few slip through in pristine condition, and those are the ones that make history. Collectors value not only the rarity of a variety but also the state of preservation. So if you've got a shiny 2014 quarter with a P Mint mark, handle it carefully. You never know what you might be holding. How to check if your coin is valuable now? Let's talk about what you can do if you have a 2014 quarter sitting in your coin jar. Step 1. Look for the mint mark. flip the coin and check near George Washington's ponytail on the front. If you see a small P, that means it was minted in Philadelphia. Step 2. Inspect the details. Use a magnifying glass or even your phone's camera zoom to look closely at the lettering, especially Liberty and In God We Trust. Any signs of doubling or distortion could indicate a valuable variety. Step 3. Check for errors. Look for anything unusual, missing letters, faint designs, off-center strikes, or oddly thick rims. These can all be indicators of minting mistakes. Step 4. Preserve it properly. If you suspect your coin might be valuable, avoid cleaning or polishing it. Cleaning a coin actually reduces its value drastically. Instead, place it in a protective holder or coin flip. Step 5. Get it graded. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can authenticate and grade your coin, giving it a certified market value. Why collectors love modern quarters? It's easy to think only old coins have value, but that's not always true. Modern errors and rare varieties can be just as exciting, and sometimes even more profitable, because they're easier to find in circulation. The 2014 P. Washington Quarter is part of a new wave of discoveries that are bringing young collectors into the hobby. It's thrilling to imagine that something you find in your change could be worth thousands. It keeps the spirit of treasure hunting alive in our everyday lives, and the best part? Anyone can play. You don't need a fortune to start collecting, just curiosity, patience, and a keen eye for detail. A piece of American story beyond the money. Every coin tells a story, of craftsmanship, of history, of a moment in time captured in metal. The 2014 Washington Quarter connects us to nearly a century of tradition. From the original 1932 silver quarters to the modern America the Beautiful series, it represents how the nation honors its landscapes, leaders, and legacy. When you hold a coin, you're holding a miniature piece of America, one that's traveled through countless hands, seen everyday life, and carried silent stories from pocket to pocket. But for a few lucky people, that story turns into something even greater. A discovery worth celebrating, collecting, and cherishing. The lesson hidden in plain sight. So next time you get change at a grocery store or dig through your car's cup holder, don't just glance at the coins, look closely, because the next great treasure might be right there, resting in your palm. The 2014 P. Mint Mark Washington Quarter Dollar reminds us that value isn't always about age or material. Sometimes, it's about rarity, beauty, and the thrill of finding something extraordinary in the ordinary.